Hey guys, and welcome back to Okami. We have now entered the second act of the game. Orochi's been banished for the time being, so we're gonna head on out into the world of Nippon and find the other brush gods, because we're sorely lacking right now in terms of new techniques. I need those new techniques. I crave them.
Yeah, I think we've only got about 4 left to find, and what's kind of fascinating is that the start of Okami is very front-load in terms of getting brush techniques. Like, we've got the majority of them,
right,
and we've basically got all bar perhaps one of our exploration techniques.
Right.
So, the final 4 brush gods are spread out quite dramatically, really. That, like, there's massive gaps of time before we get each of the next brush gods, which feels a little bit strange, but then it makes sense because these are the ones that are the most difficult to find.
Right. I've noticed evil still seems to be omnipresent in the world. Defeating Orochi has not seemed to have cleansed Nippon of darkness, so I guess we should head to the capital city and see what's going down.
When Orochi was vanquished, a black plume of evil smoke went up into the sky and flew off towards the capital. So, Orochi's dead, but clearly the evil that was part of him is not.
Christ, this really is Kingdom Hearts. You can't just kill one Xehanort. No, you've got to kill all of them to have an effect.
Exactly. So we are just going to head straight to the city checkpoint, and obviously I'm saving up because why the hell would I not?
Yeah.
And also we are going to definitely, I'm pretty sure, go and pick up a pile of leaves that I forgot to get the last time.
This seems slightly anticlimactic following, the god of darkness being defeated, but your playthrough, your rules.
It's something that I think Okami does quite well, or at least it's quite fascinating in how it does this whole thing, because the entire first act of the game sets itself up as if Orochi is going to be the final boss.
Right, as we discussed last time, yeah.
Yeah, and you get to that point, and it is, for the most part, a really satisfying moment, and then the game suddenly goes, there's more to see, and it just opens up, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. Sorry, you reminded me of the Poke rap there. Oh, jeez. 150 Orochis and more to see. To be a Nippon master is my destiny. So talk to us a little bit about the glaive we got from beating Senor Darkness, mate.
Yes, so the glades are our final weapon type in the game. They are a massive frickin' sword, which is awesome. They are, as I've said before, they are the powerful but slow type of weapon. And what's quite interesting is that you can charge up their strikes to hit harder, which is very satisfying to pull off. Effectively, think of it like it's sort of, it's not quite the same as, but it's similar to dodge cancelling, or at least like, I can't remember what the technical term is, but in Bayonetta what you can do is you can use a combo, dodge in that combo, and continue the combo afterwards.
Right.
And effectively, in holding on your strikes with the glaive, you can do that sort of slower combo thing of getting in more powerful hits after a bit of time. Often you are just going to be going with standard strikes because you're not going to have time to sit around charging the damn thing up.
Now, I've got to say, another Zelda comparison, I look at the sword and I see some very familiar colour combinations there.
Yes, well, I should probably say, so this is Sumagari, which is, as soon as I get the information up.
It's the first recording of a new session, guys, please bear with us.
I'm not ready with all my information just yet. So, the Sumagari is in effect based on Tsukuyomi. Tsukuyomi is obviously the moon god, and so it's fitting that we now wield the power of the moon.
Oh yeah.
As a sword. It's glorious. But also, Sumigari being recovered from Orochi's remains is a direct reference to how the blade of Kusanagi was obtained by Susanoo. If you recall my whole blather about the Imperial Regalia of Japan...
Yes.
The whole thing is that Susanoo gets the Kusanagi from the body of Orochi, so it makes sense that we then get our first sword from the body of Orochi.
Oh, isn't this Tama's place?
Yes, this is indeed Tama's place, and yeah, in the side questy part where I was saying I'm going to go around and pick up all of the leaves, yeah, I forgot that one.
Oh, Rich, what are you like? Can't take you anywhere, really.
I know, and apparently I also missed one in Taka Pass.
Ugh.
Which was, I think, near the Guardian Tree, or the Guardian Sapling, which became a Guardian Tree. I don't know, but apparently I did.
Is this a progression part, or, a side quest part? You're sending mixed messages here.
So this is a mixture of both, if that makes any sense.
Well, it's very easy to comprehend, so yes.
There's not going to be a lot of plot necessarily happening for a little while yet, because we've got to make our way to the capital. And the capital is where the plot's going to start to pick back up again. Until then, we're just exploring the world, but we are making progress in each and every single part. So it's one of those types of situations where it's not direct major plot progression, but it is still progress.
I'll never forgive you for this, but okay, it's fine.
It's how the game is structured. Like, after the big epic climax of Act 1, there's just a bit of downtime where you can just get to relaxing and enjoying running around like a nutter.
Yeah, which is fine. You can't have, like high point all throughout. You'll get burnt out.
Exactly, especially in a game that is as long as this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can just about get away with it in a game that's maybe at most 10 hours. Like, I would say that Bayonetta skirts that line quite well. Obviously,
any other Platinum game, then, basically.
Well, no, because I mean, The Wonderful 101 is very much loads of high points, but that has its downtimes as well, because that's actually a surprisingly long game, all things considered, even though it's an action title.
Interesting.
But I'd say, looking at Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising, of those shorter, high-octane action titles that very easily try and do high point after high point after high point. I should also include Vanquish in that.
Yeah.
But all of them are short enough that they don't burn themselves out. But yes, we are now at the city checkpoint.
Big old bridge.
And this is basically why we were never able to... Well, we could have come in here earlier, but we wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. Because ultimately we needed the power of Moegami from the Moon Cave to make any progress.
Remind me who that was? Oh, the Phoenix, right?
Phoenix, yes. And essentially what I'm just going to do to begin with is just make sure I feed all the animals.
Aww.
Because we're just that kind of wonderful goddess.
Well, if it was me, I'd make them pay. I don't mean, like, in terms of vengeance and whatnot. I mean, like, put that shit in my hand,
But yes, we've got the bridge, we've got a massive long river, which is quite fun. It's more fun later on.
Okay.
Because of a holy artifact that we can get.
Right.
Like, it's that holy artifact, which it's going to be a while yet before we pick it up. But, oh my god, it's a delight.
You're always teasing in this playthrough, mate. I loved this environment, though. Holy shit.
Oh, it's beautiful. And I mean, if you think this is beautiful, honestly, you haven't seen anything yet.
What did I just tell you about teasing? Just that sort of game, I suppose. Just that sort of game.
Oh, it is. I mean, I would say that we haven't reached we haven't reached the area that has one of my favourite pieces of music in the game yet.
Interesting.
That area is also the largest in the game. Like, it's gigantic. So if you thought that, like, Taka Pass was big, you really, really, really have not seen anything yet, because this world is just gonna go bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
How did this game run originally on a PS2, might I ask?
Honestly, I don't know. I think if there's one thing that Platinum are very good at doing, is it's making sure that their games fit on the consoles that they want them to fit on.
Of course, yeah.
Whether they're always as optimised as they could be is a different kettle of fish. But I know for a fact that I think the fit on Okami was very, very tight in terms of the space available on the disc.
Well, can't they get one of those double-layered discs? I could have sworn Kingdom Hearts 2 had one.
I don't know, but I know that it was basically at the limit of what they could fit on the disc. Or at least that's what I seem to recall reading somewhere.
Man, they did a lot with what was essentially an underpowered console, because you may not, remember if you're young or realise if you're old enough, that the PS2 was the weakest console of that generation.
Which is insane.
Yeah, for what got essentially some of the best games of that generation.
I mean, I think the whole thing is that, despite the fact that the GameCube was easily the more powerful hardware...
Well, Xbox was above that, yeah.
Well, yeah, but people saw the purple cube and thought, that looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's kiddie, I'm not interested. Developers saw the discs and thought, oh god, no, that's not going to have enough space to fit my games. And so that's how that sort of awkward situation arose.
Yeah, Nintendo did not make the best decisions, ever, really. I think Wii U was paramount in that regard, and
I know, which is annoying, because the Wii U was actually a decent console. The Switch is easily 10 times better.
I disagree completely.
I feel that the Wii U had some really, really strong games on it.
There you go, yes.
And as a concept, the idea is quite fun and very unique. It's just that nobody ever really actually used the console at all properly. Not even Nintendo.
Well, the idea of just looking down at something and diverting your attention away from the television is... it works when you're on a handheld and both screens are adjacent to one another.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it was always very awkward, and I could do it, no problem, I'm not weird in that regard or anything. I don't have two-screen phobia, but it just seems like the Switch does everything the Wii U was supposed to do, and better.
Oh, yes, definitely. But I will still have always a fond memory of my time with the Wii U, because there were some spectacular experiences on it. But yes, moving back slightly to the whole thing with fitting Okami onto the PS2 discs.
Right.
One of the ways that they got around that issue was by being very clever with their use of assets. Because with certain locations, you will notice that they look quite similar.
Yes.
And you haven't really come across any of those areas in particular, but you will do, and the reason that they look similar is because they use exactly the same construction assets, they just use different textures. and that saves up quite a lot of space, actually.
And, you know, of course, there's the Canine Warriors and stuff
Yes.
like that.
Using similar character models and just changing textures. It's all a way of conserving space, and they did a phenomenal job at it, really.
That's the clever kind of way of, like, doing what is essentially a recolor, because you could have just changed the colour, but changing the texture is, it gives it a fresh coat of paint, so to speak.
Exactly, so in pretty much actually every instance that we're going to see...
What the fuck is going on?
Well, we just sort of blew everything up. I know there were probably, like, people there, but they're not important. They weren't lowering the bloody bridge, so they needed to die.
I'll just blame it on Yoshi, he's the one who fired the arrow.
Exactly, so it's all his fault. We're just like we're just a wolf wielding a sword, as one wolf does.
I know, like, regular mortals can't see Army's markings, but can they see the weapons she carries?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't think they can, actually, to be fair. Because if you think about when Mr. Orange saw Army right at the start of the game, he only saw her as a white wolf. He didn't see the reflector on her back at all.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But I could be wrong on that. Now, we're going to try and get what is actually a relatively challenging chest right now, and it is one that probably you're not actually going to want to try and do now, because that would be daft. But...
You okay there, Army? What the fuck?
Yeah, so essentially what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see where the Konohana blossoms are for me to leapfrog from one to the next. The reason that you have to properly leapfrog with these is because obviously they just drop you down into nothingness. So you are constantly looking up into this bright light world, and it's awful because you can't properly see anything, and this is just going to go really badly. I think I'm going to have to start all over again because I fell too far.
Failure.
This is a challenging thing to do right now because, one, I don't have enough ink pots to do this easily, and also I'm a little bit clumsy with the brush, as you've probably already noticed.
What, you? Clumsy? No, get out of it.
There are ways of getting around this whole issue, because there is no way that you are ever going to manage to make it entirely across to where you need to with the number of ink pots we have right now. So what you're going to have to do is use an Inkfinity Stone. Because basically you see that little thing sticking out the water all the way at the far end of the river. That is where the chest is that we want to get to.
Ooh.
And so yeah, we're going to need to use an Infinity Stone, which gives us more than enough. Well, it gives us infinite ink, which is why it's called Inkfinity, because it's a fun pun.
Yes, I think we got that, Richie.
Yeah, and it gives you that for a small amount of time, which is very helpful. This is what the wooden mat does if you've got it equipped. Because I've not got any health to heal, it's not doing anything, it's just looking nice and fun and pretty. But if I did have health to heal, then it would be taking my yen as it healed me.
Well, you know, nothing is free in this world.
To be fair, right now it's a bit of a waste of yen because we haven't purchased everything, but as I said, much later on when we deal with that really challenging bit, well, those really challenging challenges, obviously, the wooden mat comes into its own, because at that point money is of no object. Like, you don't need any money anymore, so you can fret it away on that sort of stuff.
Oh man, look at you, you jammy git.
I know. Well, you see, this is what... If I had one more ink pot, I probably could have made it. But I needed to use that Infinity Stone, otherwise I was not going to make it to the end there.
That was pretty cool, though. Like, just travelling over the skies like that.
Oh, it's so fun to pull off. But it is a little bit of a challenge because the Konohana Blossoms are set to drop you, and if you are not quick on the ball, then you're just going to fly right into the water.
It just wasted ink pots, really.
Exactly, but all is good.
Did you want to blow off some steam after that sky adventure?
I did indeed, yes. Because I think I was quite frustrated. It was like, oh, for God's sake. And if you're wondering why I haven't cut this battle out, it's because we hadn't done any, like, standard imp battles for a while. And also I knew that quite a lot of this part was just going to be running about.
Dicking about, yeah.
Yeah, so I just thought, let's give you a little bit more excitement, rather than doing, like, full-on exploration, because there's going to be plenty of that later on.
I've got to say, I love the motions of the glaive. It feels like you're hitting hard.
Oh, definitely. Like, the glaive is a fun weapon to use, but I would say that it's annoyingly less fun than the reflectors and the rosaries, because along with being the slow, fast one, it also has less in a combo. So the reflector has, oh god, I think it's like a standard of 4 hits in a combo, which you can then obviously upgrade. The rosary has a standard of 5, I think, and the glaive has a standard of 3. So obviously as you go you can increase the number of hits you can do in a combo, but it's easily my least favourite weapon type in the game just because it is as slow as it is.
How many people did you kill here when you knocked down the bridge exactly?
I don't really know, and to be fair, I don't really want to know.
Like, you gotta do, like, multiple purifying sanctuaries here. Words are just not my friend today.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think actually we probably didn't really kill anybody because there's a whole situation going on in this part of the world, as you'd expect. So, I think everyone was like, why isn't the bridge lowering? And we will definitely eventually find out why that was the case.
Well, there's trouble up in Capital City, innit?
Well, obviously, because this is a video game, and even if it wasn't a video game, it's a standard narrative, and I have no idea how that was a cherry blossom, a cherry bomb.
How are you doing such, like, thin lines there, exactly?
Honestly, I don't know how I was doing that, because I don't think I was doing anything any differently. I think this is where my Wiimote started to decide it was going to start to play up on me a bit. So you're going to be seeing quite a few ridiculous brushstrokes taking place, because my Wiimote was really having a hissy fit. It's going to reach its peak at some point when we're in the capital. Oh, it drove me insane because it was happening on 2 side quests, which requires very on time and excellent brushwork. And it was just like, no, not now. Please, for the love of God, not now. But yeah, basically the way that you do thin lines is you pull the Wiimote further back. Because then you do smaller lines. If you move the Wiimote closer to the screen, then you'll do bigger, thicker lines.
Okay.
Which is a nifty little thing, because it does actually feel like you are wielding a paintbrush. Sort of. But it gives that sort of impression, which is just quite fun and nice, really.
Oh, getting a fair few stray beads in this part. Nice.
I know, that they're all really quite nice and close together, which I very much appreciate.
Especially in an open world. Is this open world? It seems like fake open world to me.
I would say that this is fake open world because it is open in the sense of you can go anywhere, but it isn't open in the sense that there are loading screens between each of the areas. So, in effect, no, it's not an open world because you have loading screens.
Yeah, segmented.
It's a segmented open world, which, to be fair, considering how big the world of Okami is, I am totally fine with that. And considering the hardware that it was on at the time, like, these places are amazingly big, considering this is PS2 and how long the game is and how much is in it. So I'm totally fine with that sort of thing. And what I'm not fine with is what they ended up doing in Okami Den, where the worlds, like the areas, are the same size pretty much as they are in Okami, but they segment those areas. So like there's, with Shinshu Fields, it's split up into like 5 different areas. So what once was just one big area that you got to explore however much you wanted, instead you've got these blue portals to get like over the bridge. And it's so disappointing to see. Well,
to be fair, it's a DS game.
Oh, I totally get why it happened, but I just feel really frustrated that Okami didn't wait until the 3DS, because then they would have had more space, better graphics, and just better stuff overall, and they probably would have been able to get away with it. But anyway, let's head on through to the next area.
Oh, it only took us the entire part to get to this bit. Oh, I'm excited, mate, I'm excited. What we got waiting for us here? Ooh, pretty. Oh wait, sorry, I thought that was just sunset. No, it's darkness.
Massive darkness. It's very miserable right now. But don't worry, we're going to fix this place.
One would hope so, mate, one would hope so. Quick save? I think so.
Quick save and then moving onward, I feel.
Indeed. We'll see you next time for another part of Okami. See you then.